I'm gonna open the Toledo Planning Commission meeting on March 11th. And currently at 6:01, we don't have a quorum yet. So we'll kind of move forward without approving anything. Does that work? So we should go through roll call though.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd still roll call. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do roll call. Do you want to start, Brian?
Yeah, Brian Lundgren here.
Jonathan Mix here.
Cora Warfield here. Okay, then visitors, but now his name is Justin, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Okay, and he's here for the presentation?
Yep.
So we don't have any other visitors, it doesn't look like, to speak on something not on the agenda. Okay, so we can't do the approval of the minutes. So I guess, do we just want to go then into the work session?
yeah.
I think that would be okay. I should put my glasses on and not have them on my head, then I could see better. Yeah. Okay, so I'll turn that over to Justin for right now.
And did,
Or
oh,
which
did,
Justin, I don't know.
did you have the presentation loaded? I guess I should ask that.
Oh, I just got a PDF.
Yeah.
I mean, I can also join and share.
Sorry, just 1 second. Yeah, the link Justin's just on the web page. If you want to go that way. If Harley beat you, that works too.
No, I stopped. Are you hungry? I'm gonna promote you.
Yes. Or you missed the open house, right?
I did, and I was sorry to do that. I was looking forward to that, honestly.
And this, I think, we'll get into a little bit more in-depth detail, but we had city council, planning commission at the open house, and then a couple from the members of the public. I was hoping for a few more, but yeah, I think winter's been hard, I guess, in terms of the timing, because we got really good feedback in the survey in terms of numbers, but getting people to the open house is a little bit more difficult. Yeah.
It is, yeah. It is hard to get people out like that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we hope to do one of the farmers markets tabling as a next step and one more survey. But
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. That'd be a good thing, catch people when they're down there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be kind of the next steps, but see you in there now, so it's a step in the right direction. Has anyone, we'll get to it during the presentation, but has anyone been down to Arcadia Park recently?
I've been by it, I haven't been on it, but I go by it probably almost daily. I think it looks nice.
Yeah, Public Works did a good job putting some, so they kind of almost have wrapped up that grant, but they put some more chips down there, so it looks really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it was resurfacing the restrooms, the fence, some lighting, and then I don't think the chips were part of the grant, but that was another thing they were able to do.
Oh, that's good.
But the cleaning up the equipment, some too. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. My name is Justin. Okay, Justin, and I'm working on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And today, I just want us to go through potential park improvement projects that we could talk about in our plan and also see on how to implement and seek funding for sooner rather than later, short term mostly. So, yeah. Just need to connect the projects to the survey results and the needs of the facilities and incorporate community input, but also input from the planning commission as well as from public works. So in the document that's in front of you, I went over some of the responses from the survey and top priorities that we discovered were more restrooms, better maintenance, better lighting, additional amenities, recreation programs, and improved safety and security.
Can I ask a question on that? I was wondering and it's probably really hard to see this in the survey, but do you think that what they're kind of wanting is like a restroom at every park? Or when they're kind of talking about more restrooms, or I didn't know if, I know that the one on the port, one of them's locked because I guess somebody did something to it, but they've got the one open and it's used all the time, and it's very handy to have down there. But I'm just wondering, is that, kind of some of these other parks, is that kind of what they were thinking in that survey when they said that? I don't know.
Can I answer this at the end?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely will touch on that. So yeah, I'm going to leave that. So system-wide priorities. Look at consistent park signage. So that's having park names, the hours, rules, and wayfinding. So right now, some parks have a name, but it's not consistent. Some are written in wood. Some just have a small clip card that has the name of the card. So having something consistent that is visible and can be seen by everyone, but also making sure that if we're labeling the parks, there's the name, there's the hours, there's the rules for each park. So that's a system-wide priority. Then restroom access and quality. So from the survey, it was the most used indoor amenity. So I can answer part of your question right now in there. So not all parks require restrooms, especially neighborhood parks. The assumption is, since it's in the neighborhood, most of the users of that park are close to home. So for the bigger parks that attract a larger number of people, the assumption is these have moved further from home, so these will require restrooms. So that's how we look at it. So in our case, just assessing what parks will require restrooms or are more feasible for restrooms. Then maintenance first. So from the survey, what we realized, as opposed to having new facilities, we would first look at maintenance of what's already existing. Then trails and walking connections. It's a top outdoor amenity and it's a requirement also for the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan of the state of Oregon. And then ADA accessibility is also a requirement in the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. And then coordination with partners, so as the school district, whole district, the port, just for collaboration in terms of planning and shared inventory that some of the residents use. So I decided to go park by park, starting with the most used from the survey. So the most used from, according to the survey, was the Port of Toledo Waterfront Park, but since it's run by the port, all we can do is partnership. So coordinating with the port on assessment of condition and what shared priorities would be. So we really don't have any projects there. Then next is East Slope Park. Where there's small to medium projects that we can work on, like the playground equipment replacement. Throughout the document, I used replacement and updates interchangeably, but different things can mean something else. Like for some of the equipment, some needs to just be repaired, some needs to be repainted, some needs to be replaced. So for this particular one, the playground equipment needs an upgrade. Then addition of a walking path. There's already a walking path there, but it's quite short. So seeing how to lengthen that, potentially adding a small overlook for the river, since it's at the riverside. And then picnic areas and seating are also a priority for most of the parks. When we're doing the inventory, realize there's just one or two benches at the parks or very little seating area. And then park signage. There's a few signs there that talk about park rules, but it's inconsistent labeling. So down there in green where it says moderate to high is the usage of the park. So next is Memorial Field. One of the major projects that can be worked on at Memorial Field is grading the field and the drainage of the field for when it rains, repairing the dugout, fencing, and backstop upgrades, and then improvement of restrooms and trying to see if we need a concession area since it's a sports field for organized sports. And then entry and streetscape improvements. There's a safety issue there from, this is not the picture, but I don't know if it's visible from this picture. There's an entrance somewhere on this side that goes directly to the street, and the playground is used by kids. Just isn't safe because the entrance just goes straight into the road. So working on that entrance and having pedestrian access from surrounding streets is a priority. And then parking and access, mostly ADA accessibility, and then park signage and wayfinding to other facilities from this specific park. And the next park we can look at is the skate park. Some of the repairs needed as surface repairs, addition of new skate features, and safety improvements, as well as lighting, then seating and shade for spectators, and then the restroom access. There's a restroom across the street that could be used, but if in this case, I need to just outline that and have it somewhere written. And then safety rules, whether that's safety guidelines, helmet rules, hours for the park, small additions that can be done. The next park is Acadia Park. This picture was from last year. There is new improvements that have been done to the scaping. They added newer logs in there, so. But the playground equipment needs repair. Most of it is aging. And then drainage and informal seating and shade areas. And just like any other park, since Acadia is one of the most used, trying to have a walking path that leads to it or around it, and then updating its signage and rules like all the other parks.
Is that one next to the pool?
And then we have the pool, where it's also mostly partnership and industry. This shared priorities and shared interests, and on our end working on trails that lead towards that direction. Then we have Maple Street Park. This is one of the neighborhood parks that's smaller, so has a lower use frequency. Some people don't even know that it exists. So these are some of the parks whereby you don't necessarily have to build a restaurant there because it's mostly a smaller neighborhood. But yeah, upgrading play structures, sidewalk connections that lead there long term, and then seating and gathering improvements. From this picture, you can see it just has one bench. And then park signage update and rules of wayfinding. And next there is Grand Theatre Park. That needs the area improvements, major accessible surfacing and just containing of the edge and the fencing, improving the open spaces around there, and park signage as well. Could also do with some seating and picnic area. Then we have the Glen Lions Park. Some people call it a natural reserve space, but yeah, having a signage and identity for it, rules and hours, and then clearing the vegetation around it, having some lighting and repairing the paths, making sure that they are clear, having general cleanup for it, and adding basic amenities like benches, waste receptacles, and just generally landscaping it. Still a work in progress. So, has very low usage also.
That one's in the boonies. Like, I only know about it because I drove by and I saw it, I'm like, what is that? And I turned around and looked and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know it was there.
You saw a sign there?
Well, I saw that they were doing something there and yeah, it seemed like there was a sign or something.
Is that the one that's right there by River Road?
Also, yeah.
Like you could turn down River Road and then this park, but it has a gate across it? Is that it?
Yeah, it's actually loops up around like that, it comes up,
Okay.
yeah. They were clearing the brush.
Then you have the Queen View Park. That needs upgrades also to the play area and seating and gathering improvements. as well as signage. Not a lot of work required in this. And then we have the dog park. So improving drainage and surfacing is what would be required in the dog park. And needs a double gate entry, that's standard for dog parks. And accessibility, and then updated signage, as well as any other amenities that would like to add there, benches, shade, rest stations, water fountains for the dogs, or people taking care of the dogs. The next is Fortnite Park. Playground equipment needs improvement. Could add benches, picnic tables, and a shelter. Could update the signage. I think Fortnite is written like small piece of wood there, so just standard signage. And next is Deer Park. From the picture, you can see there's some work that was going on there last year. Fixes to the entrance, making it ADA accessible. So right now, mostly improving the playground, having signage there, and just small amenities like benches, a shade, and a picnic table to give it more life. So yeah, we decided to add this section, Justin, because one, the survey had a very huge number of youth inputs, and so from our last engagement here, the commission and the city council expressed interest in incorporating student perspectives into the plan. So a lot of their perspectives relate to the things that we've been talking about. So trails and walking paths for active recreation, playground updates and inclusive play equipment, maintaining the skate park and improving it, having more open space for informal play and gathering, and then safe and welcoming parks with good lighting and restrooms. So I came up with a few questions, but also like for us to discuss and share any ideas on what could be added. What do you think?
Here's somebody thought.
Well, as far as number one goes, I think they all should have a little bit. Right? Just a couple in particular, just spread it. It's
Yeah, I guess to kind of help keep things like signage, Justin mentioned signage for every play park. So I think that's something that'll be like at the beginning, yeah, signage for all, but trying to think of like some bigger like equipment replacement that might be a priority, or a shade structure at a certain park. Kind of flipping through all the examples Justin provided, if anything jumps out as like, yeah, I see that as a top priority.
Well, one thing I noticed the other day when I drove by Branson Park, I live right by Branson. There's a bunch of kids out there with sunning for a little bit, so they're out there running around. It was Monday, I don't think there was school. And all of a sudden it started raining, and they had nowhere to go, you know, they had to like run up the street while it's just pouring rain. And so at all of these parks, it would be nice to have some sort of a gazebo or something that they could duck into, like in that situation, you know.
Mhm.
And then,
None of the parks I have.
right, and so, the other thing would be like by the pool, there's a tennis court. So like we could build like a basketball, like where I grew up, we had a basketball, what do you call it, outdoor play shed like they have at the elementary school or whatever. It just has chain link fence, and then it has the roof, you know, and it has the basketball hoops. And then, so I don't know if we could do that for like the tennis court, or if we can do maybe a separate one, or maybe just like one big building to include the tennis court and a basketball court.
So you're saying add a hoop basically to that?
Yeah, add basically a big structure, like a play structure, like they have at the elementary school, but like down, I think that'd be a good spot down.
Well, there is room there at Arcadia, right?
Yeah,
Like behind, like you're looking at, you're in the tennis courts, and then if you look behind the tennis courts, is that all still open back there? I know at one time it was paved, like when I was a kid, and there were basketball
Mhm.
hoops back there. Are they still back there?
yeah,
Oh,
but it's like.
but you
we could
could
just-
cover that
yeah.
whole area,
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
Okay, I'm saying, yeah, at the very back, there's that separate current hoop, so covering that.
yeah, so like at the brand center, that's the one I'm really familiar with, but there's a small, it's not anywhere near big enough basketball hoop, you know, it's just one hoop. So like we could make that bigger and put a shed there where they could play, you know, I don't know if you, I don't think you could.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe just something to where they could go and hide from the rain, still play, be outside, do something. Sometimes it'll just rain for like 10-15 minutes and then the sun will come back out. Half hour later, it rains. And,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, so the frisbee, disc golf by the library, is that part of the Arcadia Park, or is that? I think that whole complex is city property, but then there's like a trail there, nobody.
Well, that goes up behind the pool, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's a disc golf course there. And I was talking to somebody that plays disc golf, and I'm like, oh, you ever played the one in Toledo? I'm like, what? Where is that?
And I can answer that and then pass to Justin, but and Arlene just let me know that they actually removed the disc golf
Oh, they did.
up there. So that I think can be one of our questions when we do the follow-up, is like have a specific question on what that space should be used for behind the library. Because yeah, that got removed. It just wasn't able to be made. The group that was maintaining it was a nonprofit that just didn't have the ability to maintain that any longer. So if we got, that could be one of the questions to get feedback of, and maybe the feedback is we should bring back disc golf, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've never done it, and I just noticed it way back when I had Howard, they were running around, you know, and I saw it, I'm like, oh, we should try that sometime, we never did, but
Mhm.
I was just talking to somebody it was a couple years ago when I mentioned it to them, and they never heard of it. And so I don't know if it just wasn't advertised enough and died out.
I think, yeah, in my mind, disc golf and pickleball are the two that have gotten more popular in the last 5-10 years, it seems like, is weren't really around too much before that, it seems like, yeah.
I feel like for disc golf, you kind of gotta, because there's like, you know, apps that will tell you where courses are. And so I know people, I've played at the one in Toledo before, but it was a couple of years ago. And I know you could like find it on certain maps, but
No, it's not, I don't know anything about disc golf, but do they do 9 holes on that too?
however many there are.
So do you know how many there were up there behind the pool?
It might have been 9.
Might have been, so there's that much room up there.
They kinda zigzags up on that hillside and then does a whole loop. I mean, the trail's probably still there.
Put a archery range in. No. Anyways,
The arrows can be the ones with the suction cups.
When we're talking about this type of stuff, do we need to be cognizant of money at all, or what, I mean, are we just throwing out ideas as to what we think?
Yeah, and Justin, do you wanna take that question or do you want me to take it? Or,
I mean, you understand,
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, so part of it will be the last chapter will have like a future funding ideas portion of it. Some of them, yeah, I mean, if something's really aspirational, and there'd be a few projects where we put a dollar amount to it in the plan. So that can be part of it, but if it's really aspirational, you still need, it's not guaranteeing everything in the plan gets funded.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
yeah, but yeah, also, like you said, depending on priorities, so the next steps would be, okay, if from community engagement and from needs assessment, we realize that, okay, this is what we need, so when we're working on the funding, we're going to look at the projects that came up from community engagement and needs assessment and working in public works, and directing more funding towards a specific project or a specific goal we're working towards.
Well, my thought is, I think that they look, I mean, I think our parks look nice, generally they look like they're, maintained, the grass is cut, and things like that. But I think, and speaking of Branstetter Park, I think sometimes they look old because of the type of equipment there. I'm thinking of Wallport, and I know that this was like a huge thing that they had, but have you guys seen that play equipment that they've had there where the old, I think it was where the whole old high school was, across from Ray's? I mean, it's huge.
they just put it in.
Yeah, it's fairly new, but every time I drive by it, I go, oh, I might need to bring my grandkids down to that sometime. And I'm not advocating like that big, but sometimes I wonder if you had colorful play equipment that catches the eye a little bit, I know that, I mean, heck, I forget how old I was. I lived in the house next to Maple Street Park, and we bought that house, I think I was maybe an 8th grader. And that's when they put that park in, like that park didn't go in until after we moved there. And at the time it was great, but nothing has changed, through all these years of the same type of, it's basketball hoop, I even forget now what's even there. But something that might be brighter and a little bit more eye-catching that kids can really just play on. I know that one at the, I'm gonna say the wrong word, it's elementary school now. They have a pretty nice play area there that's kind of all one thing, you kind of go from one thing to the other. And that was just kind of my thought when I looked at these pictures, which was really good in this presentation, these pictures are great. But I just thought there's a lot of space in these parks, a lot of grass that you need to cut. But there's not a lot of other there's like maybe a teeter-totter or like I said, basketball hoop or some swings, but they seem like they could maybe be a little fuller.
And a lot of it, some of it's like really little kids too, not like middle school age. Like the skate park draws more of the high schoolers and middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Definitely has a high volume of usage.
That was just my thought on that.
Kind of think for like specifically question one is like East Slope Park. There's a lot of room there, and like even just that walkway that goes through there is, you know, I'm pretty sure a lot of it, the further away you get from the road, the path gets pretty rough. And it would be really cool if it did connect all the way. So I think it ends at the far corner, like if the sidewalk or something could go all the way to like Butler Bridge or something. That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that would be because the trucks come down through there and there's not a lot of
Yeah, there's
room to
not
walk right there.
much of a shoulder really.
Yeah,
Well, and there are a lot of people that walk in there,
yeah.
you know, walk around in there. Yeah, that'd be a good idea if you had room for a sidewalk in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that playground structure is pretty small too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's a county road or a city road.
I don't know.
And who would own the property next to it?
Railroad probably, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right along there.
the railroad there does make it challenging for part of that, yeah. But that's good feedback.
I know there was, the property behind where like the GP pump station or wherever that is, on the other side of the road from there, there's like a big field, and I thought they were gonna put like the bridge to nowhere across there for the elementary kids to go across. But I wonder if we could put the trail to go up East Slope Road over to that meadow, or, you know, make like a loop or something,
Mm-hmm.
and incorporate that into that park.
Yeah, so like, summarize it, I think it gets at Justin's question 3, but the walkability and trails, maybe we jumped there, but the Olala Slough, and then across, the bridge to nowhere, because there's a bridge, which I haven't ever seen myself, but there is a bridge that apparently exists, that the intent was to take it from the elementary school across where there's actually like the creek portion, and then to make a walkway in the Olala Slough, so that could be included in the plan. So I guess, and Justin, I don't want to take over, but we can jump to question 3, yeah.
Well, here's something interesting, I'm sorry, but, I'm looking on my map app here, and it's showing that East Slope Park is up where the baseball field is on top of the GP field.
That is weird, because East Slope's below, so where the GP ball fields are, those are actually owned by GP, and my understanding is those are going away. So that on our map that back in 2023 when we made it, we actually had those on there, but we're removing those for the future map.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's weird, they messed it up, I guess, but, yeah, it says GP, what's that little strip on that corner?
It's on
Between
Google
the
Maps.
wrong on
Oh,
Google
but it's
Maps.
wrong on Google Maps. It
And the
was
park, there's like a little.
Kallenbach Park on Google Maps.
Oh, yeah, just that little bit there.
But East Slope Park's over at 10th Street intersection. 'Cause there's two.
Oops. Well, you can submit a comment in Google that the one up above is not East Slope Park.
It's like not even on the right road.
Yeah. You wanna keep going through your questions? Yeah.
Questions almost leave open, like,
Makes me smile.
like, what's a response?
You wanted to keep working your way down or any other questions?
I think it would be handy if the city did have, I think most everyone knows about the waterfront park, but like if you don't, you know, like some kind of trail map, and maybe if the trail map could also show you like, oh, here's how you would get from, I'm just thinking for like out of town people, especially since there's a lot of events at the waterfront park, like people maybe want to go for a long walk. Like if the maps did show like, oh, here's how you get to Arcadia Park and then you can go up through the disc golf course trail or whatever. And just make a big giant loop somewhere. A map of that would be pretty handy. Sidewalks, like I was talking about, East Slope Park would help for walking too.
Yeah, basically right now you have to go up over the hill. I mean, you can go the other way, but you risk having two cars at the same time and you're right there on the edge. So we always just go up over the hill. I mean, we live up there anyways, but like, if you're gonna go to the mill to the east slope, that's what I'm saying, you have to go over that hill.
Yeah,
And so I think that'd be great to get that connected over to the mill. And then you could walk that one over to,
well, you go that one back down to the waterfront park.
yeah, Waterfront Park, and then you go all the way over to the Bay Road.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at question 4. I don't think that, I can't think of any role or function that should be changed. Any of them, I don't think. Should be considered.
Is that question asking like, oh, should we get rid of the swings for something else?
Yeah, something like should be turn this into maybe like a conservation area since it has low usage.
Which all the low usage ones I think were mostly in the neighborhoods, right?
Well, I think too, the survey, it was pretty limited number of people, and so, they're gonna know more about the skate park and Arcadia Park, and the East Slope Park, because those are like the most predominant main street.
That's
Main
what you drive
routes
by.
that you drive by,
Yeah.
And so like,
Better signage might help for some of that too.
Yeah.
I know like, cause I live by Branstetter Park too, and there's kids there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not, I think it was low usage on here kind of.
Yeah.
Low, moderate, so.
but like the East Slope ones, there's not very many houses. So it's just some apartments on East Slope. And some houses there, like Paisley Way and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, people usually walk to that.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Well, they have a little more
Or there's a small parking lot.
I think it could even, I'm thinking of it like, and this might not be the case, but a small neighborhood park becoming more of like a destination park or something like that too, in terms of the function. In Toledo's case, many of them are pretty small, but, or if it's like how East, because I think Arcadia is kind of that like central core one, but like how East Slope's come up a few times, but how does East Slope now become even more popular? Is that one's less of a neighborhood park, but more of like it'd be more of a city destination park. So, yeah, and maybe it's the
Wildlife viewing,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Wildlife
geese and ducks.
Do they also have little barbecues there? At East Slope, but they don't have those? Okay,
I think there used to be one or two there, but I think.
but they're not anymore.
I don't remember seeing them.
Cause they turned into like an exercise park, there's like these little.
Oh, yeah, that parkour or whatever you call that, yeah. Do they still have that there too?
I haven't been down there.
Yeah.
I feel kind of
I
bad,
think
cause
it's all still there. All the like hanging bars and stuff, I think it's still there.
yeah, I mean, I was just walked by there the other day, but I didn't.
Do you want to talk about the assessment of facilities that you did for all the parks?
Yes,
Isn't like East Slope has the better basketball court maybe? Also be why it gets used more.
Hmm.
Like compared to the other ones, like another one at Branstetter is like very tiny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
and I was just gonna talk about the inventory assessment that we did, and it's gonna be published in the plan, though. Yeah, like things like barbecues and size of courts. So most of the courts will have size, no full size. So some improvements can be like having a full size court. And then things like barbecues, and seating and shade areas, most of the parks didn't have those.
Something that would maybe have people or welcome people to stay longer.
Mhm.
You know, if you bring your kids, you're playing, maybe you're gonna have picnic lunch while they're playing, you can sit in the shade and, you know, I don't know. Get more of a, rather than being there for 20 minutes, let your kids play and then walk off, you know, if you kind of stayed a little longer.
Goes back to your comment about the shade, yeah, because if it starts to sprinkle or something, if you can run and hide for a minute and then come back out, yeah.
Yeah, maybe some landscaping would draw people to, you know, like, say like more, either like shade trees or like more of a garden vibe to where they can sit there with the flowers. That type of thing too. Make it attractive to the adults as well as the kids. Yeah, definitely a bigger play structure would be cool, especially maybe at like arcade or East Slope or somewhere more central. Probably the arcade would probably be good, because then you have, you know, you got the skate park right there that the older kids could go, and then you got the younger kids have a big old play structure to play on. Keep it busy, and then somewhere for the parents to sit. Chill.
I've been thinking, so Justin, do you think I should get the assessment that we did and then say, okay, this is what we have and this is what we don't have, and maybe find out what to add there, like do we need more barbecues, do we need a shade, do we need more benches?
Mhm. Yeah, and that maybe comes out in the survey questions. Yeah. 'Cause I guess we could ask the planning commission, does that feel, if we had a survey that talked about some of the existing features? Yeah,
I might not have to be a survey, like maybe an activity, let's say at one of the market days, let's say around the table, and then we put a list of amenities and just ask a simple question like, again, what would increase your park use?
Mhm.
So we put things like a barbecue, benches, a shed, this and that.
would that be helpful?
Just to find out.
Well, and I wonder also about leaving that or, you know, listing those, but then also saying other or something, leaving it
Mhm.
also just a little open-ended to have maybe some other ideas that the survey might come up with.
Yeah, survey, or if it's, maybe we come back here first and then do the public event.
I also wonder, and I don't know if this is important on the survey, but I think it would be important to know if the community knows where all the parks are. You know, if you listed all the parks on the survey and they marked okay, I know where this one is and this one is and this one is. And if you knew that, let's say Fortnite Park or Maple Street Park, if they don't know where it is, then you'd know some of the focus could just be on letting it, focusing on certain parks and where they are and what they've got and come try it out, that type of thing, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's was captured a little bit in the first survey, and then there'll be a map as well. And my hope is that if someone flips through the plan that Justin's will be drafting, that there'll kind of be a section for the different parks, so someone can see the photo and see what's there, and then also see the map. So I think awareness is a key piece of this.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We want to encourage people to use them, and you want to encourage them to use all of them, They need to kind of know where they all are and all the good things about all of them.
Kind of makes me think about question 5 is like, maybe if we did new signs at each park, it could just have a whole park map there, which can also then include the trail maps.
Yeah.
That way people can be like, oh, I'm at this park, here's another one, maybe I can go find that one.
That's a good idea, having them all having all the signs the same, basically, at each park, other than you can have a
Like the name
star
of the
on you're
park.
here or
Yeah.
something, and this is,
Yeah, kinda like what they have at the mall or whatever,
yeah.
yeah. That'd be cool. Now what about, so you know how they have like the beaches marked and stuff, they have a brown sign, it has a tent on it for camping or, beach access or whatever. Is there some way that we can have a sign that, somewhere, say like, Maple Street's kind of obvious, you drive up the road, you see there's a park. But like who goes up, let's see, where do you go, what's there? And so if you had, down on the bottom of the hill, you had a sign that said,
Park
City
Park or
Park.
something.
yeah, then that gives you another, somebody driving on Sturgis will see the sign, and, people in that area can go there.
That's probably a good idea. Arcadia has that kind of thing, don't they? At the intersection there? Or maybe it's, if you're sitting, like if I'm coming up from the pool and I'm at the stoplight and you look left, and isn't there like a wall there that kind of talks about library, park, maybe tennis courts, I'm not sure what it says, but for that, but you're right, if you had a sign like at the bottom of Alder Lane Drive, it says Maple Street Park up here.
Yeah.
That'd probably be helpful.
But like, personally, I know that like Brand Center Park, there's people that come from other places, they drive to there, cause they park there, and sometimes there's 3 or 4 cars there. Whether it's because they have small kids in it and wanna walk all the way there, or just a little bit too far away to walk or whatever, or if they come from the other side of town or come from somewhere else, I don't know, but some people don't like when people come into their neighborhood and like, oh, that's a strange car, like, what are they doing, like, some people are like that. But like, if that's that case, if you're drawing people from further away, you're gonna have to have a bathroom, even if it's, I don't know if you could do, if they do single stall, like single use, single person bathroom, like small, like over the corner or something, we could have a small bathroom. That would be open during the day and not,
Not at
almost
night.
camp at night.
Right.
I don't know if there's somebody that would drive around and patrol and make sure those are locked up or whatnot. That'd be another factor to consider, I think. And instructions, it's gonna draw unhoused people to.
I do know the one at Arcadia, the new one, it's automatic in terms of when it can go, and there's a code, there's that ability. But it does come down to if there is another bathroom, Public Works now has another bathroom to maintain,
Right.
yeah.
But they're already going there to mow the grass and do whatever, and so put trash out of there. I don't know. But yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Anything else you'd like to see answered, Justin?
Any other questions? As to this? Thoughts and
Well, okay,
ideas?
number 7. I think it's pretty significant to have the students and the children input because they're the ones who can use it. So, because a lot of times they just after school they run down there and do the thing. No parents or
They're the important ones.
Next will be reviewing input from this session. Alongside with the inventory and assessment that we did. Then we'll meet with public works staff for additional input on some of these projects plus the ideas that have come up tonight. And come up with needs and priority improvements. And then we'll draft recommendations for the parks, trails and investment. And some of that includes the funding, part of it, that will go into the plan for review. And then for the next 4 to 5 months, we'll draft the plan and keep having these check-ins and have the public review it and bring it back for planning and support with the commission and city council. So, yeah, so just.
When do you plan to do that second survey? I know you talked about farmer's market, but when does that farmer's market or Thursday market start back up? Is that June?
June, I think, and yeah, I should say, when I say survey, I should say, it might, we don't know the format, it could be like survey at the farmer's market, or it could be like same survey that we did last time, so more public input, we should say, yeah, so that was my mistake, yeah, I guess we gotta determine those steps, but June, yeah, for the farmer's market.
so if we I don't know if it'd be useful or not, but if we're gonna do another survey, what if we had, say, like a sign, a temporary sign that would have a QR code on it? And it would say, take the survey, and you'd have one at each park. And then whoever uses the park, you know, well, let's take the survey, then we might actually get a little more input from people that actually use the parks, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we can bump up our outreach, and the QR code is a good idea. I will say, I think the open house was limited attendance, but our survey responses were 201, right, or something, 207, okay, yeah, over 200.
Yeah,
So that, I think that was really strong. But yeah, it was just, it's more, what's been more challenging, I think, is these two public events, you know.
and what about, and even the QR code we could put at the schools too? Just, you know, on the bulletin board, like,
Yeah, Arlene, what do you think? Do we have does Brian have a sandwich board or something? So I think we
think so.
could probably print a large QR code,
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't know if there'd be a way to incentivize, you know, like, if we could have like a drawing for something, some sort of a prize, like a raffle, like enter a raffle and take the survey.
Yeah, that's a rich question to see if the city has budget for something.
Well,
Yeah.
we have some loot, like you get a hat or a pin or a sticky pad or a sticky.
Yeah.
I kinda had the thought you should do a scavenger hunt at each park to where people have to go to each park. And I don't know, take a picture, or I don't know how you verify that they're at each park, but we're thinking somehow to get people to get to, so then they get to know where each park is.
I think Lincoln City has something like that, a trail challenge or something.
Oh, did
So there's
they?
a sign on several trails throughout town. And I didn't participate in it, but I think the sign has a QR code on it. There's just a scan and it registers somewhere
Register
that you've
the
done
name
it.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Dairy Queen's.
You feel like
Yeah.
you have what you need? Yeah.
Somewhere like good free pizza.
Some good ideas.
Hot dogs for-
Yeah, go to the park and cook 'em.
Any last thoughts on, and I guess we should say this won't be the last time that Justin's here kind of facilitating a conversation.
That's
So,
good, yeah. I think it's an important process, so I'm glad we're doing it.
Thank you. I know we were one short today, but
Yeah, so, are we done then with the work session?
Yeah.
Area, you think?
yeah.
Okay, so then we'll go to discussion items, updates and reports.
Just super quick, the Safe Routes to School grant, the signs, and there was the ADA crossing ramp across 10th Street. That was at the point where it's getting closed out now. So we just I mean, a lot of that's been there for a while, but that's getting closed out. And then the signs they did get hardwired, and so they have permanent electrical, because there was, just with the location, the solar was a little bit difficult just because it's a lot of trees in that area, and in the winter they weren't fully charging. So that was the last bit for that project. One kind of note, the city thought about applying in 2024 for Safe Routes to School funding again for sidewalks there. We didn't. Basically, they set it up where it's part one, you see where you score against others. We scored kind of in the middle, but not quite high enough. We didn't move forward with part two. Safe Routes to School funding for construction, unfortunately, for this year is on hold. But because of ODOT's funding challenges, so that was one of the things that is kind of on hold at the moment. So it won't be, the soonest we could reapply for Safe Routes to School is 2027. But it's good that we were able to close out that last grant. And then the Memorial Field bathroom, I know Commissioner Sutherland always has questions on the bathroom, and not here today, and I can provide an update at the next meeting too. But we're looking spring, summer, that they'll be working on that. So you should actually see walls and stuff going up here soon. Yeah.
Well, that kind of helps your, what was the name of that park again, down there?
Memorial.
Oh, Memorial, yeah, Memorial Field Park. Well, the bathrooms, the new bathrooms will kind of help your thing at the park there, you know, if kids are in the park, they just have the bathroom across the field. I don't know, will that be one of those things that somebody lock them every night and open them up in the morning, or?
I'd have to ask Public Works, but probably the same, like there's a timer or a key code that's a part of that, so they will, it get locked once they're outside of park at normal hours, yeah.
And that part's good, as long as like during the day if kids are.
And you can program them, because I know events like will occur, especially in the summer, so you can change it like for like events and stuff.
It'd still be nice to have another bathroom over by the playground. 'Cause that's.
Well, it would, I mean, because you have a lot of, during the summertime, you have a lot of ball teams playing ball there too. Yeah, it would.
There's room for improvement.
But I'm glad that they're gonna get that bathroom done there at Memorial Field, that'll be good.
That's all I have.
Is that all that you have?
Eileen, did you have anything to add?
Okay, staff comments?
Nothing, just I covered it with the discussion, yeah.
I guess I have one thing of getting that time of year, you should be watching for the Oregon government ethics email if you haven't already, but that's usually due mid-April, so just that heads up that it's that season.
Good to know, yeah, on that, yeah. Okay, are there any commissioner comments?
I heard that there was a emergency preparedness open house thing at the fire department. I believe there's a flyer out here on the bulletin board out here. But
Has it happened or is it gonna happen?
it's gonna be happening, yeah, I believe it's either I wanna say it's April or March. And then there's gonna be a town hall there that the city's having about water conservation and drought. They're kinda linking in with the wildfire preparedness type of stuff.
Oh, so the city's gonna have an open house, or no, what do you call it, town hall,
Town hall.
that same night?
No,
Oh, okay.
Is there,
March 25th for the town hall. And that will be at the fire department. And then the emergency preparedness open house event is April 18th.
no.
Okay, any more commissioner comments? Okay, we will adjourn this meeting if there's nothing else going on.